Good morning, everyone. Uh, I think James Morris is someone new, so we'll let him introduce himself, and then the rest of us will introduce ourselves uh, to James. So, James Morris, who are you? Who sent you? How did you get here?
James Morris, captain with the School District Police Department. Chief Harper is tied up in a meeting and he sent me a link to join in until he gets out of his other engagement.
Oh, I am so happy to see you. And what's your rank?
Captain with the School District Police Department.
Well, thank you so much. It's very important that you are here. We'll start. I'll call on folks to introduce themselves, but let me let Captain Morris know that my name is Teresa Elamine. I am the board co-chair of the Southern Anti-Racism Network, which is a nonprofit that receives funds from the Crime Prevention Department. We received $20,000 in 2019. We received 20,000 in 2020, and we received 15,000 this year for the purpose of plugging the school to prison pipeline and ending all the arrests at school and ending children being in the prison track. So that's why I'm so happy that you're here, Captain Morris. So I will call on Jennifer LaDenny, who is a parent and activist, to just introduce herself. Jennifer.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Lee Denny. I'm a parent of a 10-year-old with autism and bipolar disorder. I'm known as a community advocate for those with autism and other developmental disabilities. I'm also a community advocate for Southside, specifically Oakland Park. And it's good to see you, Captain Morris. I used to work with SARN and SPICE until my child's obligations overtook everything because I had to keep Ryan out of the school to prison pipeline. So it's good to see you, Captain Morris. Thank you.
Well, let me correct Jennifer. She is still very much still working with SARN and SPICE. Jennifer is our graphics artist. So all of the beautiful flyers that we put out, Jennifer actually is on staff with the program, and we give her a small stipend each month in order for her to produce these lovely materials for us to give out in the community. So Jennifer, don't ever say you used to work with us. You still work with us, right, Jennifer?
I do. I just miss doing the groundwork. You know that.
Well, I know, but you're making a really important contribution. And I sent you a text letting you know all the flyers, the flyer for October 27th, for October 30th, and for November 10th. So hopefully we can talk tomorrow or later about that. So let me call on Danita Gibson Lloyd. So Danita Gibson Lloyd, would you please introduce yourself?
Good morning. How is everyone? My name is Nita Gibson Lloyd, and I am privileged to work with this organization. I am specifically the SPICE coordinator at Wilson Homes, and we have an event today from 1 to 4. We're looking forward to working with our ladies out there, working to help positively impact them as they work with their school-age children, specifically elementary school, to make a positive difference and to make sure that we keep them as well out of that prison pipeline. So good morning, everyone. I may have to go back on mute because I'm at the office this morning, but it's good to be here. Good to see everyone's face. Thank you for the role play.
Good to see you. She is so beautiful, isn't she, everyone? And she
Yes.
gives the women at Wilson Homes such an uplift. When they see her, they just start smiling because they want to be here. So Deidre Whittlesey, would you introduce yourself, board member?
Hi, I'm actually with the family. I sent you a message, but I'm Deidre Whittlesey, and I am part of the board for SARNS. I am vice chair, and I also work with DFACS and work with families to prevent foster care and work with families with children in foster care.
very important person, Deidre Whittlesey. Glad that she's on the board of the Southern Anti-Racism Network. So if we could have our eminent person, Jonathan Evans, who is in charge of residents and all kinds of things at the Housing Authority. So Jonathan, please introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, everyone. I'm Jonathan Evans. I'm the Resident Services Manager for the Columbus Housing Authority. We're so glad to have SARN working with us, especially at our Wilson Homes location. We have a lot of the ladies out there getting involved, and that's what we need. We actually want to see more involvement from the parents and the residents at these different properties. So we're to have you all here with us, and we're happy to be a part of the SARN network and seeing what we can do as far as bettering our communities.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. Well, last but not least, George Friday. George Friday has been hired as a consultant to bring us together every month, and she will be sending out the Zoom invites every month to the full list of people that we're trying to get to the meetings. And George Friday lives in Gastonia, North Carolina, but she'll give a little bit more history about herself as we begin to move the agenda. George Friday, the eminent George Friday, the incomparable George Friday. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm glad to be with you all. I have deep respect and admiration for the work that Columbus Organizing Together is doing and what each of you do to pull that together. You're part of that. So the key thing to know about me, yes, I live in Gastonia, North Carolina. I'm a native North Carolinian and a longtime networker in peace and justice circles, doing some work that is connected to organizing, but not the kind of organizing y'all are doing. But the key thing to know about me in these meetings is I keep us on time. So someone new is joining us. So everyone, when you speak, when you get to the point where you've gone 3 minutes, you'll get the 2-minute warning from me. That's the key thing about me. I'm really glad and proud to be here. So Elisa Williams has joined us. So Alyssa.
Alyssa Williams was once the SPICE
Good morning.
coordinator for our citywide project of collecting surveys from parents. And so Alyssa, would you please introduce yourself? We're so glad you could be with us today. Oh, Alyssa, unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Alyssa is a young woman who has lived in, oh, she's saying something in the chat. George, could you take over?
Sure. Alyssa's written, good morning, I'll be listening in. I'm not able to talk because she's in another meeting. Glad you're here, Alyssa.
Well, great. So George, if you could put the agenda up now so that we can begin to hear the updates from people. So we have quite a few partners. Goodwill and the Columbus Public Library are two of our partners. I did hear from the Columbus Public Library that Gabriel Lundeen is in a training today, so he can't be with us. I was hoping that Tricia Conan would be with us or have somebody from Goodwill to be with us. So I will mute myself while George calls on people for reports. So if we could start with Danita Gibson Lloyd, because she may have to leave the meeting soon. And then after that, we will go to Jonathan Evans, and then we'll go to Jennifer LaDenny, and then James Morris to hear what's happening with the Muskogee County School District Police Force. So George, if you could handle the roll call, starting with Danita, then Jonathan, then Jennifer, then James, and I'll try to call Tricia Conan to see why the Goodwill people are not here. Thank you.
Great. So, Danita, you got 5 minutes.
Okay, so we are just again excited about having an event today at Wilson Homes, where it's a continuation of what we've been working on in preparation for the upcoming Parent Summit in November. And what we're working on again is making sure that we are developing the soft skills in our ladies that are there. We do have presenters that are going to be participating on November the 10th. We're going to have a beauty shopping experience that we've had multiple times to make sure that they are adequately clothed with what they need to have to present themselves. Because, you know, when you look good, you feel good about yourself. We're working on professional presence and poise, as well as just giving them some confidence. And so my mother and I and a few other volunteers will be there today working with the ladies. And then we'll be working as well on making sure those that are going to speak on the 10th are ready, and be working with them individually on those things. So again, today from 1 to 4 at Wilson Homes, we will be there. In fact, I kind of dubbed a name for it. I called them the Women of Wilson, or WOW, because we're looking for that wow factor. We're trying to positively impact their lives for the better in such a way that they can positively impact the lives of their children. So it is a strategy. It's very deliberate, and we're excited about the results that we're beginning to see and hoping for more results as we lead up to the November 10th event, our Parent Summit that's going to be held at the DoubleTree. So that is all for now.
Sounds great. Thanks, Danita.
Thank you.
Jonathan?
All right, I feel like I'm just going to be really repeating what Danita just spoke on, because it is the housing authority of, Wilson Homes is where where we're having those meetings and what's taking place over there. I would just be pretty much repeating, and I know that we're enjoying working with you all over there, and the ladies have spoke on how glad they are to have SARN there. So I know that I'm not in the meetings personally a lot, but we do have a family service worker that's there. That person is usually there just in case they need anything during the meetings. So she's usually in her office, but she's there just in case they need anything for the meetings, i.e. Copies, things of that nature. So she is there for assistance, but we are, like I said, again, just repeating what she said, we're glad to be able to have you all at Wilson Homes and to be able to see the change in the ladies and how they are enjoying having you all come to those properties.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Hi, everyone. At this moment, I don't have much to report. We're gearing up, though, for legislation session with the group with Senator Harrell. She's from District 31, but we do have a lot of parents involved from our district, which is District 29. It's going to be surrounding Bill 208, which will force Georgia to finally address the now and comp waiver planning list. What it is it's not a question of lack of funds anymore. It's a lack of political will. So it's going to be interesting on how we're going to flip on it. Locally, we haven't had that many meetings going on. So that's supposed to change towards the end of the month. So if I see anything, I will definitely post it so we can get that to anyone that's in reach with any autism parents or caregivers. And at this moment, that's all I have to report. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. James Morris?
Yes, ma'am. I was unaware I was going to have to present anything.
Oh,
from
you
the-
don't have to do anything formal, just if there are any updates or information you want to share. What would you like this group to know as they're working with the communities there in Columbus?
We've been receiving lots of school-age books And we've had officers going out reading to elementary age kids and trying to get them to understand that we're there as a resource, not necessarily there to take anybody to jail, trying to change the perception of a school resource officer. Those steps are working out pretty good. We're developing a coloring book and gonna have a contest to see who could put more hair on my head or the chief's head in that coloring contest, trying to make us more human. Those things are in the early stages, but it's different. It should make a difference. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Captain Morris. Let me just let folks know that the police department, which was established, seems like it's been a couple of years now at the Muskogee County School District. It is an unsettling trend in school districts that they have their own police forces, because they actually do arrest quite a few students at the school sites. In 2018, approximately 300 students were arrested at school. We do know that there's serious gang activity in the schools, because I have the police records. That includes, Kendrick in particular. It also includes Baker Middle School. So the gangs that are shooting up the place, and that has gotten us to 57 murders so far this year. It's either 57 or 58, but nevertheless, the homicides are being fueled by the gang activity and various retaliation things that are going on. The young people are shooting up Columbus, and we really want them to stop, because they're hurting our people, and we want them to stop. That's why it's so important that Captain Morris is here, because lots of the young men, like the 17-year-old or 16-year-old who was killed on September 17th, people say that was a gang retaliation. And so we want to stop the killing. So the Southern Anti-Racism Network is a sponsor of these meetings. We meet monthly for 1 hour. And so Jennifer's writing something in the chat, 57 with the infant who was ruled a homicide. So we're at 57. The total number of homicides in 2020 was only 46. So you can see we're on a pace to get close to 70 homicides by the time the year ends at the rate we're going. So I'm disappointed that the police chief and Lieutenant Losey are not here today, but they were invited to talk about how the homicide division is doing with things. So the primary purpose, Captain Morris, of these meetings is we have 3 priority areas where we're working. Affordable housing. We want to ensure people have affordable housing. That's why our partnership with the Housing Authority is so important. We eventually will get into issues of how we eliminate the slumlords who are mistreating people who don't live in public housing. The second important thing is education equity. We want to clarify the difference between equality and equity, because the children who are living in poverty need more. They need more services, as Deidre Whittlesey knows from working at the Department of Family and Children's Services. We also want to make sure that everyone is safe. So public safety and public health is the other area. We say public safety / public health because the two go together. Particularly concerned about the cure violence model that the city is considering. So I'll say more about that after we go to the next agenda item. So George, help me out. What's the next agenda item after these reports?
the Columbus Organizing Together 2-year strategic chart.
Well, if you could put that on the screen for everyone to see. I think Jonathan may not be able to see it because I think he's on his phone, but I think Captain Morris and everyone else would be. So we're gonna walk people through the chart. The Columbus Organizing Together project is presenting. Please mute yourself if you're not talking. George, you might want to mute yourself now for a minute. But this chart is a chart that George and I have been working on for the last few weeks in order to present it to you today. We do strategic planning. George and I are paid by agencies and nonprofits to help them with their strategic planning. This is the first phase of, oh, great, Jonathan says he can see it. Great, this is the first phase of a 10-year plan. What I have realized after being here for 10 years, I came here on a 5-year plan. Columbus has been the most difficult place I've ever organized, and I've been organizing for 55 years. So we're gonna walk you through the different columns of the strategy chart, which this is only for the first 2 years. We are going to the year 2030. And it's based on the fact that we're working with parents with children in elementary school. So 3rd graders would be either graduating or close to graduating by 2030, as will 5th graders. So we're only working, focusing in on parents with children in pre-K to 5th grade, because quite frankly, it's become too dangerous to try to talk to the students in middle school and high school. I've had too many of them threaten me. I mean, physically threaten me. So I decided to move to parents with the younger children to protect my health and safety. So George, could you do the walk through the columns so that I can stop talking now, George? Thank you.
Yes. So we've got the areas of focus for the strategic thinking, from goals to collaborative partners, action research that's needed to inform action and strategies, community activities that will help with the goals, and then strategic objectives that need to be met. The goals for the next 2 years, November 2020 and 2022, I hope you can see here. If there's anyone who can't see, I'll read it out loud.
George, please read it out loud, but if you could make it a little bit larger, that would be great.
Not really getting, oh, there we go. Excellent. So November 2020 to November 22, those goals are achieving clarity on equity versus equality that Teresa mentioned already, and increasing collaborative partners. You'll see here in the next column, the collaborative partners, there are many currently, but increasing those collaborative partners is important. So the collaborative partners include currently Boys to Men Development, the Columbus Community Center, Columbus NAACP, Columbus Public Library, the Fatherhood Initiative, Goodwill Industries of the Southern Rivers, Inc., Greater Columbus Chamber of Commerce, the Housing Authority of Columbus, Project Rebound, Southern Anti-Racism Network, Urban League of Greater Columbus, Western Central District Department of Public Health. Now, there may be more collaborative partners that will be added between now and November 2022. You may know of some. Let us know about that, share that information so that that can happen. You'll see here.
George, one of the things we were going to ask Captain Arp, Chief Arp, Captain Morris, is if we can list the Muskogee County School District Police Force as a collaborative partner. So if you could share that request with Chief Arp, because these are all the partners we've been connecting with and working with over the past going on now 3 years. And we have not added anyone to this list without their permission. And even though the IMA, the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, meets with us regularly. They have a process where they have to get all the churches to agree. So that is an unsettled question about whether the IMA can be listed. And if you note, we don't have any elected allies listed. On November 10th, all of the elected officials who will be in attendance at the parent summit at the Doubletree Hotel, which would be 9 to 12, and possibly some will come in the afternoon, but they will be asked to sign a pledge, and that will include school board members, Captain Morris, in addition to city council members, any state representatives. All will be given a form, Danita Gibson Lloyd, that we should work on. All of them will be given a form to sign a pledge saying we are committed to affordable housing, education equity, and public safety. We sign on to Columbus organizing together. That will be the basic content of the pledge. And then we'll be able to list elected allies here, but they have to put it in writing. They have to sign the pledge. Thank you, George. If you could go on with the action research needed column.
Yes. So the action research needed column, again, I mentioned research needed to inform some of the strategic objectives. And as of the end of September, we received retention data from the schools, dropout rates for the years 2018, 2019, and 2020, graduation data for those years ending 2018, 2019, and 2020. We also have the 2021 summer learning program, what schools were involved, and the numbers of students retained after that process. We also have the Muskogee County School District 120-day strategic plan. What we still need are poverty rates for zip codes 31903, 06, and 07, and the student arrests for this academic year, 2021 to 2022. That's research needed. Community activities, here you'll see.
George, hold on. We actually need, if you can amend that, for the Muskogee County School District arrests, we need, not for this academic year, because it's not over yet. What we need are the previous 2 academic years. We need 2019 to 2020, and we need 2020 to 2021. Those are the arrest records we need, which I know Chief Arp has given me these records before, and I will send him a formal open records request, but we're not asking for the current years yet because the year hasn't ended. Thank you, George. If you could make a correction.
Yes, ma'am. So we've got the amended to 2019 to 2020 and 2020 to 2021 for the years that we need. All right. The community activities include things that have happened and things that are upcoming. Parent surveys are being collected and will be due on the 1st of November. The Wilson's Home beauty shopping trips that Danita Gibson Lloyd gets to inspire. You do look fantastic, Danita Gibson Lloyd. I love that necklace. There have been those in August and September, and today there'll be one too. The Columbus Public Library Bookmobile events. On the 9th, there was one at Cross Creek Apartments. On the 30th, there will be one at Wilson Homes. And of course, the Parents Summit is on November 10th at the Doubletree, as people have mentioned. There have also been donations to Goodwill. There will be on the 27th of this month and again on November 10th. Anything to add under community activities? No?
Yes, George, on October 27th, we will be back at Wilson Homes for the beauty shopping trip, but I don't think you need to add that specifically because you did include August, September, October for the beauty shopping trips. But I did want people to know that October 27th will be the last shopping trip. But in November, we're gonna have a Thanksgiving turkey giveaway at Wilson, and we're hoping to have a Christmas party at Wilson in December. But those can be added in November when we meet again, because we want to meet in early November. So thank you so much, George, for the excellent work you've done in putting this chart together. So if we could do the last column of strategic objectives. Thank you, George.
Sure. These are strategic objectives for November 2020 to November 2022. Securing the memorandum of understanding with Housing Authority of Columbus that was accomplished in November of 2020, and that MOU lasts until November of 2022 at this rate, at this moment. We also secured the funding from Columbus Consolidated Government, the crime prevention funds in 2020 to $20,000, in 2021, $20,000 that expired in 2021, and then secured this year through 2022, $15,000. A strategic objective for this year by the end of December to raise $5,000 for Columbus Organizing Together.
Well, thank you very much, George. We will have a program booklet for the November 10th Parent Summit. So we'll be asking, Danita Gibson Lloyd and I are asking people in businesses and organizations to buy ads in the program booklet for November 10th. I might mention that the mayor is going to be speaking on the state of public safety at that event at 9 a.m. on November 10th. And we would really like to have the Muskogee County School District Police Department represented there. We'll have tables where all of our partners will be able to put out information. Goodwill, the library, the Urban League, Boys to Men Development, all of our partners will be asked to attend. It's totally free because we're not having any food at the event because of COVID. But each of the parents who will attend from Housing Authority properties and from Cross Creek Apartments will receive a $25 Piggly Wiggly gift card for groceries. And so they can have a happy Thanksgiving and have a happy rest of November with that $25 gift card. So we're looking forward to having a good turnout of parents to speak on November 10th. And so we'll be highly focused on that day. So now if we could open up for questions and discussion, George. I see people are writing things in the chat. We did lose someone, So who did we lose? Oh, we lost, there were 8 people here. So did we lose? Who did we lose, George? Do you know?
I don't.
Well, does anyone have any questions about the strategic chart or anything to add to it or any comments about it? Does it look okay to you? Oh, we lost Alyssa.
Alyssa. Thanks, Jennifer.
So does anybody have anything to add? Please don't be silent. I do believe that silent is consent, but we want to hear your thoughts because we have been putting a lot of work into this. And as you see, we're increasing our collaborative partners. So Jennifer, you were writing in the chat and you know the community well. So could you say something about what you think about the chart?
It looks great. So I'm gonna reach out to Pastor because he actually runs a community center. He doesn't just do Oakland Park Communities Association, if that's okay. I think he would be a good add because he has a network amongst some of the pastors that do the community work around town.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Anyone else can think of any ads? Danita Gibson Lord, you're a real mover and shaker in this community. Can you think of any folks we would want to add? I think when we start soliciting ads for the program booklet the rest of this month, we'll be soliciting ads so we can start working on raising that $5,000. And so, Danita Gibson Lord, have you had to go back to work or are you still there? Danita works at a farmer's insurance agency, and she mentioned that she might be called into a meeting. So we'll pass on from there. But I do want to hear from Captain Morris in terms of what he thinks. And since the Housing Authority is our key partner, because we will move from Wilson Homes to Farley Homes in January, Jonathan. And then we'll try to be able to take on Warren Williams and Elizabeth Canny throughout 2022. We're finishing up the surveys at the Canty Homes and Warren Williams and Farley. And so I was just told by one of our survey workers that they're pretty much done with the new list you provided us.
Yes, ma'am, and we're looking forward to it.
Jennifer put a note in the chat that the pastor would be happy to join, but he doesn't, he's not active on Facebook. And we've got about 8 minutes left before the hour. We still have to do announcements and decide the next meeting date.
Well, thank you, George. I appreciate Jonathan saying, because Jonathan, we will need the shuttle service on November 10th. So we'll need the shuttle to pick up parents at the various properties of the 4 properties as soon as we identify who can do that, who can come on November 10th. But I think the incentive of the Piggly Wiggly gift card will make sure we get the flyers to you that Jennifer is updating the Parent Summit flyer so that it can go out to all the properties, Jonathan, so everybody can know that they can get to the summit, preferably between 9 and 12 that day. But we'll be there all day until 5 o'clock at the DoubleTree. Captain Morris, did you have any comments that you would like to make?
I just wanted to be clear that you wanted to know if we could become a part of the collaborative partners to see about getting Chief Arp to sign a pledge form. And on November 10th, you wanted our department represented at the DoubleTree for the Parent Summit. Is that correct?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, Captain Morrison, preferably between 9 a.m. and noon, because the superintendent will be speaking in the 9 to 10 hour. So we will start promptly at 9, and the mayor will speak shortly after we start at 9. And then Superintendent David Lewis will be speaking. So it would be great if the Muskogee County School District could be in the room between 9 and 11. We'll be hearing from parents probably starting at around 10. So that would be important for you to know and to hear. But the 9 to 12 3-hour period is going to be the major program. And then we'll break for lunch because people can go in the restaurant to eat because we won't be serving food in the room because of COVID. Everyone is required to wear a mask. So George, if sorry, George, if you could help us finish off the agenda so that we can make sure that we in at noon.
Yes. First to call for any announcements. Anything you want to share that hasn't been said yet? All right. Last agenda item. Your next meeting. It's important to meet the first week of November to meet before the Parent Summit on the 10th. So the choices are November 3rd or November 4th at this same time, 11 o'clock. What say you? Jonathan Evans, the 3rd or the 4th?
Either one of those days are fine with me in November.
All right then. Captain Morris, it may be
Same
difficult for you to
response.
speak everybody, but
Same response, either day is available.
okay. Does anyone have a preference between the 3rd or the 4th?
Well, George, could we do the 3rd? Because I'm looking at my calendar and I have a doctor's appointment at 10 a.m. on the 4th. So my preference would be for the 3rd because we always meet at 11 a.m., Captain Morris, and we're always done by noon. And so it's a strictly 1-hour meeting. So if there are no objections, can we settle on November 3rd at 11 a.m.? If you could turn on your cameras and wave, I'll turn on mine, even though I'm not looking as pretty as Danita Gibson Lloyd.
Okay. So November 3rd, everybody's good with November 3rd at 11. I'll
Yes.
send out a Zoom link. So you'll see something from George Friday. That's the reminder. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you
Y'all
so
have a
much.
great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
George, please save the chat and of course, do what you need to do to secure the recording. But be sure to save the chat so that we can send that out to people who were not here. And
Okay.
George, I'm gonna start getting ready for the rest of my afternoon because I have to be over at the
Wilson Homes.
Wilson Homes at 1. And of course, as you know, I haven't taken my medicine and I haven't taken care of myself. So I'm going to do that. So you're looking lovely, George. So you take care of yourself. And I will talk to you after 5 today.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.